Hey guys, so I decided to do, strongly pushed by Shayna, I decided to do a 25 random facts about me video. It was hard to come up with 25 facts, honestly, but, well, because I share a lot with you guys already, so to find 25 more things that I haven't told you was like, whoa, okay. So let's start. So the first random fact about me is, I don't think I've said this before, but my first kiss kind of makeout session, I don't know if I would call it quite that, but anyway, was with a girl, and I was 8. We were playing house, and yeah, there were no boys around, so one of us was the dad and one of us was the mom, and yeah, that's really awkward. So number 2 is, I've never gotten a speeding ticket or even pulled over for speeding, which I find pretty cool. Unless, well, some people might consider it lame, but I keep to the speed limit. So my first crush ever was, I can finally say this, I think we're both adults now, but his name was Nick, and we went to church together. And I had it so bad for him. Like, I think we were about 7 or 8 or 9, somewhere around there. And I remember at, like, when I was in my room at night, I would listen to Never Had a Dream Come True by S Club 7. And I was like, this is about Nick! And yeah, it was pretty pathetic, really. I love Wizard of Oz book more than the movie. And some people might say, well, the book's always better than the movie, but the movie has been considered, I don't know that number, but the movie's been considered such a classic for so long that actually might surprise people, but I just really like the book so much better. More stuff happens, and like the Emerald City wasn't actually emerald, it was regular, but everyone on entering the city had to put on these emerald goggles. And I don't know, it was just kind of like this whole perspective, like hidden theme, I thought, that I just really enjoyed. So my wand on Pottermore is Applewood with unicorn hair center. It is supple and slightly springy and 10.5 inches. And I want to make it for real out of the wood of an apple tree. So one of my biggest pet peeves, I've never made like a pet peeve video or anything, but one of my biggest pet peeves is people who are driving and talking on the phone. I cannot stand it. I broke Shayna of her freaking talking on the phone while she was driving. It drives me nuts because that's how accidents happen, and it's negligent and irresponsible, and it bugs me. So the Jane Austen era, I think like if you Google it, it spreads from like 1860 to 1900. If I could live in any other era, it would be that. And I mean, you might say, well, yeah, but women were treated like crap and couldn't vote. But have you seen the clothes? I mean, Sense and Sensibility, Pride and Prejudice. If I could wear that every day, bam, I would live in the 1860s. So this might surprise a few people, like including people who know me really well, but I really respect Kesha, and like that might not seem to go together, respect and Kesha, but when she first like came out with her big hits, like TikTok, I was like, oh, that song's kind of catchy and whatever, I kind of like it, but just like in the last few months, I've really come to respect her. She has a new show on, I think it's like TLC, which I know that's a dangerous thing to say and doesn't sound very good for my judgment, but if you watch it, you get a little more respect for her than just what the critics say and everything, and that's usually all you hear about Kesha is just what other people say, so it's just kind of nice to have her voice thrown in there and just the reasons behind why she wrote some of her songs, and I don't know, I just have this newfound respect for her. So next is, this is the funny story. Shayna doesn't know I'm gonna say this, but I remember the first time I got in trouble for saying a word. I was about 3 or 4, and I said penis for the first time, and Chris was like, Mom, she said penis! And like he was all trying to get me in trouble, and yeah, is funny. So when I was 13, that Christmas I just turned 13, I got, I think like $20 from my grandparents for Christmas, and I went to Walmart and bought a glitter lamp. It was purple, and it was like the greatest thing I'd ever bought. Like, I was like, this isn't quite a lava lamp, but this is a glitter lamp, and this is awesome. And I actually had that thing until I think I left my hometown when I was 19. Because I'm pretty sure it was in my apartment. So I don't know if you guys have ever heard of the Sweet Valley High series, but it's still up in my parents' in my old room. I think I am missing 5 books from the entire series. And when I say entire series, I mean Sweet Valley Kids, Sweet Valley Twins, Sweet Valley Junior High, Sweet Valley Senior Year, and Sweet Valley University. It's like almost 1,000 books, I think, or more. But I think I'm missing like 5 from that entire series. I was obsessed with Jessica and Elizabeth Wakefield when I think it started about the time I was 12 when I found those books. And I mean, I was reading them until a little before I graduated. And those books are still up in totes in my parents' upstairs. I should probably do something with those. Oh, that kind of leads us into the next fact, which my favorite color has not always been green. It started out that I remember, my favorite color was purple because of Sweet Valley High. Because the one twin, Jessica, had the Unicorn Valley Club, and their color was purple because that was her favorite color, and that was like all they wore. So I was obsessed with the color purple until about my junior year in high school, I want to say. And I discovered how red and black look together, and I was just obsessed with red and black. Like, that's how my entire apartment was decorated. And then I think it was shortly before I moved here, or shortly after, is when I was like, nope, it's green. Green's my favorite color. I didn't play with Barbies or anything girly like that until I was about 10 years old. Up until that point, all I played with was Matchbox cars, and G.I. Joes. Can't tell I had 3 older brothers. For the longest time, I was obsessed with The Parent Trap with Lindsay Lohan. I mean, I would watch it constantly. And I think it's because I'm the only girl, you know, and I just wanted to find a long lost sister. I thought that was like the coolest idea ever. So yeah, I think I actually just sold that DVD, finally, to Hastings for money, because I didn't want it anymore. But I used to be obsessed with that movie. So you all know that I use the word obsessed a lot. I am an obsessive person. But I have this crazy connection with the Romanov family. I talk about them a lot, I'm pretty sure. And it's funny because Anastasia Romanov is the one that started it all, because it started when I saw the movie Anastasia, the cartoon one. And for the longest time I was convinced that Anastasia Romanov survived and all this and blah blah blah. But I mean, now I know better. But so she used to be my favorite, but now the more I read and the more I research, Maria Romanov, the sister right before her, is my favorite Romanov. She was, I don't know, she's more like me, I think. I think her and I had a lot in common. I have 2 fears, and they are incredibly irrational. I can't even explain why. I'm not afraid of tornadoes, or snakes, or spiders, or heights. I'm not afraid of death. I am, like, deathly afraid of ventriloquist dummies, which makes no sense, because once I get over that, you know, supernatural horror movie aspect, I realize they can't do anything to me. They're just wood or porcelain or whatever. But I cannot be anywhere near one. If one shows up on the TV, China doll, ventriloquist dummy, I cannot look. And boats. Now, I mean, a lot of people might say, well, that's a common fear, boats. But it's an irrational fear because I am an amazing swimmer. I've been swimming since I can remember, and I'm a great swimmer. So there is no rational explanation for why I'm scared of boats, but I am. They make me wildly uncomfortable. So if I didn't have the job I had, I would have my nails painted constantly. Because before I moved here and started working here, I would have my nails painted every day because I love nail polish. But with my job, you're always using your fingers to tap the screen, so it chips and you do other stuff and it just wears your nail polish off. So sadly, until I get a new job, I can't paint my nails every day, and that's sad. So the first time I realized that I was a weirdo or kind of an outsider was I used to know this kid named Jared in high school, and he would say the weirdest things. He would say Buzz Lightyear lines from Toy Story 2 or from Toy Story, and he would just sing the Tigger song out of nowhere, and all these people would make fun of him, and I was like, dude, that's funny, I want to go hang out with that dude. And I don't know, we ended up getting kind of friends till he graduated, and I think that's the first time I realized that I wasn't like everyone else. I was kind of a weirdo. So I think having him in my life, even at the small point he was a good thing for me, because it helped me realize that I was a weirdo. When I was little, my favorite shows were Power Rangers. Tommy and Kelly were meant for each other. And Biker Mice from Mars. No one else has ever heard of this show except for me and my siblings that I know of. But Biker Mice from Mars was one of the greatest shows ever. It was a cartoon about these mice that rode motorcycles. They were from Mars. And they ate pizza a lot. And it was so good. But yeah, those were my two shows, was Power Rangers and Biker Mice from Mars. And also the old X-Men cartoon. That was some great stuff. Up until, oh my gosh, when was that? 2 years, Big Brother? 2 years ago? Up until 2 years ago, I'd heard of Big Brother, but I was like, that is so stupid. And Shayna came and lived with me, and she watched it, and I'm like, really? You watched that crap? Come on. So one night, I think she was watching it, and I heard this laugh, and I was like, how are you watching that show? That chick is so annoying. And it turned out being Rachel, who won 2 seasons ago, and I don't know, I don't even remember the first episode I watched with Shayna, but I was grudgingly getting hooked on it. So then when the next season started, that chick with the annoying laugh came back, and that's actually who I ended up rooting for and who won. So now I'm crazy into Big Brother. Last year, we were so excited for the finale. What?
It's just like Harry Potter.
Well, yeah, it's kind of like Harry Potter.
Stupid, and then you get hooked onto it.
Yeah. It seems like and it's not just Big Brother, it's Project Runway too, but it seems like everyone I root for wins. So I guess we'll see this year. Big Brother comes back at the end of the month, and I'm so excited. And it seems so stupid, but it's very interesting to see how people interact. We're getting down there. The 21st random fact about me is that if you have access to my Facebook, you'll probably notice this, but I have a huge thing for photography. I, in fact, at one point when I was younger, wanted to be a photojournalist. And I love taking pictures, and I love practicing photography and trying to get better at it. I remember the first camera I ever bought was a 110. It was about like this. It was really long and skinny, and you had to look through the viewfinder and click it, and it came in this weird film. But yeah, they don't even make that anymore. I don't think they can even develop that film anymore. My favorite horror movie of all time, and this is, I don't know, some people are like, really? But is Blair Witch Project. Because when you get down to it, it's a really realistic fear, because a lot of people go camping and a lot of people get lost. And so, I mean, you have that lost in the woods, you know, no one knows where you are aspect. And I'm an auditory person. Like, what you hear but can't see is so much worse than what Hollywood will throw in your face sometimes. Like, don't get me wrong, Woman in Black was terrifying. Because I don't like women in veils. But, what you can't see but what you can hear, my mind comes up with way worse than what they could actually show me. So that's why Blair Witch Project is my favorite horror movie of all time. Because, I mean, you're in a tent in the pitch black, and all of a sudden you're out in the middle of nowhere, and all of a sudden you start hearing children laughing and a baby crying. I mean, come on. How do you get more terrifying than that, knowing you're alone in the woods? So my two of my most prized possessions are my EVP recording that we caught of the little boy saying hello in my grandparents' basement, and this picture. I'll show you a better view of it. But those are two of my prized possessions because I haven't done very many lockdowns, but the EVP was my first lockdown, and we caught that, and this picture is my second lockdown, so it was just very gratifying to get that evidence. But yeah, in that picture, in that red circle that I put on the picture, you can very, very clearly see a man's face. Like an older man wearing a hat, it looks like a baseball cap, watching us. And it was just crazy to catch that picture because, I mean, it was just me and my brother and I think Shayna? Were you there when we caught that? Pretty sure. Up there alone, and then all of a sudden there's this man's face in the window, and we were up on like the second story, which was way high, so there was no one looking in the window. And like, if you look at the actual picture, there's so many more faces in that window that you can spot. It's crazy. 24 is if Harry Potter were real, like realsy, and I could make a potion. My favorite potion would be a dreamless sleep that Harry takes in Goblet of Fire, because I have horrible nightmares and dreams, like last night. And I just would love to have a night with no dreams. That would be great, except I would take it every night. So my last random fact about me is my eventual goal is to move to Oregon. I have wanted to live there since I was a little kid because it rains all the time. Although right now you wouldn't know any different because it's still raining it's been raining for like 2 days straight all day. And then this past week we've gotten a lot of rain, which is awesome. But I really want to move to Oregon one day. And actually we've looked into Pendleton, Oregon. And so that might be the eventual goal in a couple of years. I'm excited. So, what? I saw you shake your head. She doesn't know if she's gonna come with me or what she's gonna do. So anyway, alright, thank you guys for joining me for this 25 random facts about me. I don't know how the crap Ingrid did 50. That's crazy. So, anyway, alright, thank you. Bye.